For most of human history, one substance killed more people than almost anything else on Earth, and it wasn't a predator, a war, or a plague spread through the air. It was water. The same thing every single human being needed every single day, constantly carried an invisible risk that people couldn't see, smell, or fully understand for hundreds of thousands of years. So, how did anyone survive long enough for humanity to still be here? No plumbing, no chlorine, no bottled water. For the overwhelming majority of human existence, clean water wasn't a guarantee, it was a daily gamble. And here's the honest starting point. For the deepest stretch of prehistory, we don't actually have direct evidence of people deliberately treating water at all. Long before anyone understood germs, humans still had one advantage: their senses. Archaeological settlement patterns consistently show early humans clustering around flowing water, rivers, streams, springs, rather than stagnant, still water. There's no written record explaining why, but the pattern lines up with something simple and practical. Moving water tends to look clearer, smell less foul, and taste better than water that's been sitting still, breeding whatever happens to be growing in it. That's not science. It's closer to an inherited, practical instinct. Choose the water that seems safest, because for most of history, that was genuinely the only test available. The clearest evidence of intentional water treatment doesn't appear in deep prehistory. It shows up roughly 3,500 years ago, once civilizations had writing to record what they were doing. In India, an ancient medical text called the Sushruta Samhita lays out several specific methods: boiling water over fire, heating it under direct sunlight, even dipping a heated piece of iron directly into water alongside straightforward filtering through sand and gravel. At almost the same time, on the other side of the ancient world, Egyptians were using a mineral compound called alum to treat their water, a substance that causes suspended particles to clump together and sink to the bottom of a vessel, leaving clearer water above. This technique wasn't a minor footnote, it's actually depicted directly on the tomb walls of Egyptian rulers Amenophis II and Ramses II. Here's what makes this genuinely remarkable. These solutions weren't shared between cultures. They were invented independently by people who had no contact with each other. In Greece, the physician Hippocrates designed a simple cloth bag, now known as the Hippocrates sleeve, specifically to strain boiled water before giving it to patients. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away and with zero cultural contact, the classic Maya civilization at Palenque carved household water filters directly out of local limestone, shaping it into a porous cylinder that functioned in a way strikingly similar to a modern ceramic water filter. Different continents, different materials, different centuries, in some cases, the same underlying problem, solved independently more than once. So which of these ancient methods actually worked? In the way modern science understands it, sand, gravel, and cloth filtering genuinely removed visible particles and larger organisms, but couldn't touch anything invisible, like bacteria or dissolved contamination. Alum worked the same way. It cleared water beautifully and likely did reduce some illness by removing larger parasites and organic debris. But it wasn't reliably killing pathogens either. Boiling stands apart from all of it. Heat denatures the proteins microorganisms need to survive, meaning it genuinely worked, reliably, whether or not the person boiling that water understood a single thing about why. Ancient people weren't testing for invisible contamination. They were testing for clarity, smell, and taste, and it's a strange kind of luck that one of the very few methods that actually addressed the real danger, boiling, also happened to be one of the simplest and most widely rediscovered solutions across cultures that never spoke to each other. And here's the sobering part. None of this solved the problem completely. Even with sand filters, alum, boiling, and ceramic filtration all in use across different civilizations, waterborne illness remained one of history's leading causes of death for thousands more years. The real turning point didn't come from any ancient technique. So the next time you turn on a tap without a second thought, remember what that simple action represents. Thousands of years of trial, error, independent invention, and, for most of that time, genuine, ongoing risk that people faced every single day with no way to actually see the danger they were drinking. Ancient humans didn't solve this problem because they understood it. They survived it, generation after generation, by getting just enough right, just often enough, until the science finally caught up. Knowing that people were treating water effectively thousands of years before anyone understood why it worked, does that change how you think about primitive technology? Tell me in the comments.